What's up, Gator Nation? Zach Alberti and Nick Beltor here coming to you live from Williams-Brice Stadium following a 41-39 win over the Gamecocks. Nick joining me now as we just got done with the presser with Billy, Graham, and Ricky, and Shamar James. Career high performances from Graham and Ricky, a fourth quarter rally from the Gators, 10-point deficit that they come back from, 2 fourth quarter touchdown drives, a game winner from Mertz to Pearsall. The Gators finish off the game with 2 turnovers. Nick, this was quite the matchup, quite the back and forth. It was funny during the week that Billy said that this was going to be a 15-round fight that was going to be back and forth, and he said the Gators needed to start fast and they needed to finish fast, and they did both of those things tonight.
Yeah, they might have taken a breather. They might have taken a breather in the middle there. But I think you got exactly what you wanted. If you want to start fast, you come out, you score in your opening drive. It was kind of a head scratcher for the defense. I wouldn't have expected South Carolina, who came in running the ball at like 87 yards a clip, worst rushing offense in the SEC, immediately runs down your throat. And you're thinking, man, Florida started fast, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, there's 9 minutes left. It's already 7-7. The under was never going to hit today.
No.
So I think what Florida did, and what I had questioned, what a bunch of people had questioned of them, was we've seen them take punches at home and respond. And it's different when you've got your home crowd.
No doubt.
When they got punched in the mouth on the road the previous 2 times, they kind of just took it.
Yeah.
Not tonight. I think we've seen Florida play hard to the clock hitting zeros at the end. But today, I think they handled adversity in that middle stretch of the game where South Carolina goes up 2 possessions, and you're looking at it late in the fourth, and you're like,
not looking good.
10-point game. This is probably not looking good. This is going to be a long couple of weeks before Georgia, through Georgia and into Arkansas. And I think I know I was sitting there thinking, like, man, this is not going to be a happy fan base.
No.
And then they put together 2 drives, and they get a stop from the defense when they needed a stop. For as much as the defense had an off night, when they needed to answer the bell in round 15, they pulled themselves off the mat, Undertaker out of the coffin, WWE style, and showed up and got a stop when they needed to.
And there weren't many bright spots on defense, but at the end of the game and at the end of the first half as well, they get a stop on a Princely Umanmielen sack. They get the ball back, go down the field, and add a field goal before half to take a 3-point lead into the locker room. And look, the Gators do not win this game without Trey Smack. 4 field goals, Nick, as you said, could have been 5.
One got blocked. It was the cock block 2.0. Just didn't come at it could have come at a more opportune time if you were South Carolina. But Trey Smack, I think, was 11-11 at that point before the one that was blocked. Lou Groza, I know that award. The committee meets down in West Palm Beach. I think you need to add somebody to your list. I don't know what happened in the offseason to not have Trey Smack be the starter, but listen, Florida gets a win. We're not here to be negative tonight. Trey Smack has been sensational.
He has. And good thing for the Gators that they figured that kicking situation out, because you don't win this. But sometimes, Nick, you got to get lucky, and the ball's got to bounce your way. And as Billy said after the game, quoting Steve Spurrier, when that tip ball happened and it went off of Pearsall's hands right into Trey Wilson's hands and he picks up the first down, Billy thought, you know what, God's smiling on the Gators tonight. And, look, they needed this win. Road losing streak at 5 games. They had not won an away game against an SEC East foe since 2020. It had been that long. They got the win over Texas A&M last year, but against an SEC East team, it had been almost 3 years since they got a win on the road. So they exercised those demons, and a little bit for Billy too. The last time that he was here with Clemson, he suffered a loss as the offensive coordinator. He's got some history in the Palmetto State, having played at Furman, coached at South Carolina State, 7 years at Clemson. So a little personal, kind of homecoming-ish for him. And look, man, you got to give him some credit. I thought he called a great game today, some great play designs. And, when they had to have it and they had to have some drives and they had to have some scores, they put it together in spite of some penalties that showed up and just some really back-breaking flags that could have set the Gators back. They found a way to overcome that and make the plays that they needed to. And what we didn't know or didn't think could happen was Graham Mertz having to win a game with his arm and lead them back and make the throws necessary to get the W. And this could be a turning point for this team and certainly gets them over the hump of being on the road.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it. Like, listen, if Florida doesn't pull this win out tonight, how do you feel about going to LSU?
Yeah.
You probably don't feel any different about Georgia, but going to Jacksonville, going up to the other Columbia, Missouri, and I don't know what's going on with the Missouri-Kentucky game. I think it's still going on right now, but Missouri looked good.
And Georgia didn't blow out Vandy. So look, we said it on the last Rapid Reaction. Part of the reason why you needed this wins was that you could go into the bye week with a chance to still be alive in the SEC. As much as the cards are stacked against you, as much as it's going to be difficult to upset the number one team in the country, it's out there for you. And to be able to go into the bye week 5-2, 3-1 in the SEC, I think, most Florida fans going into the year, if you would have told them that this is where they would be when Vegas only had them at 5.5 wins, this is quite the start to the season in 2023. And now they got to go out and find a way to be competitive and try to get an upset in Jacksonville. But you feel like you can do it now. And they wouldn't have felt like they could do it if they came out of this 4-3.
Yeah, and just on that note, on just the mentality, listen, it's only one win. This was a 2-3 team coming in. Like, it's not a career-defining win for Billy Napier, but you're going into a bye week to not have the stench of a loss sticking with you for 14 days as you get ready to go and play Georgia, play the number one team in the country. To be able to have positivity and to have some momentum into a bye week. You need this week, like Graham Mertz said today. Like, Graham Mertz has been getting the snot kicked out of him week in and week out. Keep saying it, the kid's tough as boot leather. But to get this week, like, look at the difference South Carolina's offensive line had with a bye week. So I think getting work in the bye week, one, getting healthy, getting your body some rest, but then also getting some work. You spend that first week in the bye week not really game planning for Georgia necessarily, but working on things that you need to work on. And listen, I'm sure Austin Armstrong will have a laundry list of things for his defensive guys to work on themselves this week coming up. But I think it's such a big thing for Florida mentally, just to go in with some positivity into a bye week and then finish the end of the year.
Ricky Pearsall makes the catch of the year, and then Khalil Jackson says, "Hold my beer." I asked Billy and Ricky, who's got the best hands on the team, and Ricky's going to take himself, but he gave a shout out to K-Jack because he stepped up big in that second quarter drive, lays out for the 45-yarder, and then gets his first career touchdown, stares the guy down in the end zone. And that's when you knew this team showed up to fight today. And Ricky said in the postgame, it's like, this is the first time pre-game and in the locker room before kickoff that I felt like everybody was locked in. The guys had the look in their eyes. They had different energy this week, and it showed up on the field, Nick. So,
it started pre-game. Tyreek Sapp, they hadn't even put their pads on yet, and Tyreek Sapp made sure to get every single person up. I'm sitting up here with binoculars. That's my guy, St. Thomas Aquinas. But Tyreek Sapp could sell ice to an Eskimo. He could get you fired up to brush your teeth at night. I think Tyreek Sapp kind of set the tone pre-game. But like Ricky said, I think whatever they did this week in practice, and listen, it can be lip service sometimes when you hear like, oh, we had the best week of practice, and you go out and you lose to Kentucky, and you're like, well, maybe you didn't, or maybe it doesn't matter.
The one thing I'll say with this team is, like, when they've said they've had a bad week of practice, it looked like it. And when they said they've had a sharp week of practice, like Tennessee week and this week, they've shown it. So,
bunch of truth tellers.
There's some truth tellers. And also in that locker room, a lot of feel-good moments.
Yeah.
A lot of hugs, a lot of celebrations.
Clubbed up, baby.
Yeah, man. They feel good going into the bye week. We feel good going into the bye week.
But I did not want to have to deal with an angry fan base. Because, this was not a very good South Carolina team. They played better after their bye week. But, we were talking earlier in the day, we were like, man, look at this team on paper. They are not good. They played better than that. But, I think, I'm happy. I think the fans are going to be happy. We're going to be happy to deal with happier fans.
Oh, yeah.
Tall task in 2 weeks, but we'll get to that right now. If you're a Florida fan, you're watching this, just crack open a beer for us. We don't want to drive home.
We do. So we will see you guys. I'll let Nick go turn us off. And then we will see you guys after the bye week to get you ready for the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, because that's what it still is. For Nick Del Torre, I'm Zach Alberti. We'll see you guys later.